Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the ninth of NASPA Tonight.
That's exciting. It's all the Scrabble news you need in 25 minutes. My name is Josh Greenway. I'm a Scrabble enthusiast.
My name is Jackson Smylie. I'm also a Scrabble enthusiast.
Well, but we list you as Scrabble expert.
I'm still enthusiastic about Scrabble. So we're going to start the time. 25 minutes starts now.
And just FYI, it's possible we'll go over because we've got such a loaded show. But first, what we wanted to talk about was some news, some world news, how it relates to Scrabble. So the first thing that I wanted to show you was it's World Emoji Day.
Happy Emoji Day. This is a pretty new holiday.
That's right. And Apple celebrates it with putting a whole bunch of new emojis out there. They'll be coming to your iPhones really soon. And
but
you know what
like, why isn't there? Are they going to put in a Scrabble emoji? That's the real question.
That's what my question is too. I demand a Scrabble emoji. There is no news on the subject when you search Scrabble emoji.
It's a damn shame.
Yeah, I mean, all you come up with is this right here, and I just don't think that's appropriate. Do you, Jackson?
I do think it's appropriate. This is perfect for Scrabble players. We all know that. And this leads us into our question of the day, which is, which emoji best describes the Scrabble tournament experience? So give us an emoji in the comments that best describes your experience in Scrabble. I think you guys can think of something cool.
Yeah, like, so if you can throw an emoji into the comments and we'll pick the best one. We'll try to pick the best one by the end. And we have lots of people joining us here, which is fantastic. Thank you for joining us. We wanted to touch on one more thing before we reveal our special guest. And that is, God, I'm terrible at stalling for time. Look at this.
Wow.
This is
a stock photo, I hear.
Well, you don't think there's an actual photo?
It looks like a stock photo when you look up beautiful wedding.
Beach wedding.
Scrabble people.
It is a stock photo. I didn't want to take a photo without...
Oh, it is a stock photo.
Yeah, I didn't want to take a photo without authorization. You know what I mean? But a couple of Scrabblers got married today. They're both Scrabblers.
Guess who they are, in case you're not sure, on Facebook. See, the thing is, the reason I thought this was a stock photo is because I saw the photos of the two Scrabblers' wedding, and it looks exactly like this. So I completely believe that this was the real wedding photo.
So love is in the air.
It's great.
Congratulations to Chris Light.
And Randy Goldberg.
Yes. And there are a whole bunch of Scrabblers down there.
Yeah. Many Scrabblers. I think there's Cesar, Mina, Evans,
Jennifer,
all the Scrabble
Jason Keller, Zachary Dang, the Zen Master, I like to call him.
Dave Koenig.
Yes.
We got everyone there.
Is it Koenig or Koenig?
That's a good question. That's next week's question of the day.
And and the Rouse. TKR and SR.
So I think to get invited to this place, you need to be in a Scrabble couple. That's what I'm hearing.
And you probably need to play Collins.
I know, it's a hard bargain.
And you need to be in that clique. But you and I may not be, well, I know I certainly am not, but we may not be in that clique. But how great would it be to be in Aruba for a beach wedding? And literally I saw pictures of some of the players playing Scrabble afterwards because what else would you expect, really? So anyway, many happy returns. I don't know what you say. Congratulations.
So we want to get into our special guest of the day. This is someone who has appeared on the show before, and it's someone I really wanted to have a really long interview with because I think his opinion about Scrabble and his experience with Scrabble is very unique. And I think I want to get into that, and I want to let the world know about how my friend Josh Sokol thinks about Scrabble. So welcome, Josh.
Welcome, Josh. Thanks for being our guest tonight. It was you came in and you saved us, I'll be honest. So we didn't quite get the promotion, but I believe we are live on your Facebook page right now. So your friends and loved ones can check this out. How are you? How's it going?
I'm good, as long as you can hear me.
Yeah,
I can. That's a thing. Okay, fantastic. Then I'm amazing. I'm glad to be on the show again. Thanks for inviting me back.
You're very welcome.
Very good. I just want to share before we get into the formal interview that Evan Borofsky said that I was already at the Scrabble wedding of the century.
Oh,
now
wow. There's some competition.
I gotta say, with Evan, it was very lovely to be there, and I appreciate the invitation. I had a wonderful time. It wasn't in Aruba, buddy. It was in Michigan. All right, let's get into it.
Before we get into your perspective on Scrabble, I want you to tell us about the Francophone World Scrabble Championship, which I hear is going on in Quebec this very moment.
This
Please
is
tell us.
Really exciting. I'm so angry. I'm not angry. I'm upset. I couldn't be there. I wanted a bike up there. It's in Mont Tremblant, which is around an hour car from here in Montreal, where I rest. And it's really exciting because I've never experienced French Scrabble so close to home, like a big tournament like that. And there are clubs in Montreal. There are clubs around the area. I've never been to one because I definitely prefer English Scrabble, but French Scrabble is big. It's pretty big. It's pretty awesome. We got people from all walks of life, all countries of the francophonie, as you would call it, and they're participating in a few different types of Scrabbling. So the biggest type of Scrabble in France and French, in the French world, is actually duplicate, where everybody sits down and plays the exact same game, tries to score as many points as possible on every single turn, and they get the same letters, and there's like a host that's telling them what to do.
And like they write their answers on slips, right? The board is up on the wall, and then they write their answers on slips, and they turn it in. And it does seem exciting. Like I'm sure you guys, with your mastery of words and high-level excellence, would probably get into duplicate. And we actually considered it as a evening activity. Yeah, well, we were both there. It was a conversation we shared. But we considered it for an evening activity at the Kingston Open.
Yes.
And we started to move down there, and then we went, are people really going to like this?
But next year, we're going to have that conversation again, and it's going to happen this time. So, Josh, before we go on, I want to jump back quickly to something you said a bit earlier, which is that you prefer English Scrabble because you think it's more interesting. Is it that you are just better at English words, or is it that you think the games are different?
There was a time in my life where I was just as good at French words as I was English words. And there are many fewer short words in French, but an absolute massive amount of longer words. So you'll see many bingos being played using all your tiles in French games. They can come from nowhere. They can come from 5-vowel, 6-vowel racks. But there are very few short words, which makes the boards usually a bit more like open sometimes. And it's a very interesting setup usually, because when you don't have like a good play, you don't have a good play at all. Like it's really bad. If you're stuck with the W, which is like the worst tile, which is like the Q of French. But I don't find it as valuable strategically, because you can just get bailed out of anything. Really.
Interesting.
And yeah, you play a lot of verb endings, like verb conjugations, and I mean it's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. And I think the last time I played was during the French Championship 2 years ago. I was just wanting to be like, I don't know, a part of it in some way, and I played with my dad. That's who I usually play with, and I had a pretty nice score of I think 580 or something. It was a very good game for me, and those scores are actually somewhat common in the highest levels of French play. So I would say the average score is more like 470 or something.
Okay.
Wow.
So at this Francophone
World
Championship,
is that? I missed.
You were just saying it's apparently
more
French
bingos?
is a more open board. They have more bingos. So
I see, because it's longer words, less shorter words. Okay.
So Josh, at this Francophone World Championship, I assume Nigel's there. Do you know how Nigel's doing?
Okay, well, this was what I was going to lead up to, but you just sort of spoiled it. But 2 years ago, the English Scrabble world was exposed to the French Scrabble world because Nigel Richards, our greatest of all time player, decided to take up French Scrabble, and he won I believe he won both the regular 1-versus-1 tournament and the duplicate tournament. I might be mistaken, but I think this was 2 years ago. And he's continued ever since to go once a year to the French tournaments, and he won something last year as well. And this year, what I believe is that he has won the Classique format, or at least made it to the finals in first place. The Classique format is how we play Scrabble in North America, 1-versus-1. And the finals should be actually happening right now.
Oh,
They're
wow.
supposed to have begun at 8 p.m. And there's some great live coverage. I need to find the link, but Tony Leah has posted on the NASPA page yesterday, I believe, or the day before. And there's some great live streaming. It's super interesting. I mean, if you don't understand French, it'll be less interesting. But
what did you like about their coverage? What did you like about their coverage?
They had some nice wordplay in the live streaming commentary. He was making jokes at the words that were being played. There were two commentators, one commentator usually, but the main commentator was very good at speaking his mind and like talking to people, saying, "Oh, I don't think that was a good play. Oh, that's a very nice find. Oh, I think he has a 7-letter word here." It was good commentary. They weren't engaging with the audience. That's something I would prefer they would do in the future. But I've never seen live coverage in French before, and I think they're doing a great job.
Evan has helpfully posted the link into the comments, and he says that they're in game 2 of the finals. Why is this event being held in Quebec? I feel like this event has been held in France before. Do you have any insights on that, Josh?
Right. It's been held in many countries, French countries around the world. Okay. And Quebec is very interesting because it's basically the only French area in North America. And unless you want to talk about like some little spots around like Canada and the United States.
New Orleans. What about New Orleans? There's some French
New Orleans,
down there.
could be. And so, but it's great. Like there's lots of interest in French Scrabble here in Quebec, especially outside of the city of Montreal. And I think it's a really great opportunity for the people that think about Scrabble here to try themselves out at a very nice venue in the North Appalachian Mountains, as you would call them. The Laurentians in Quebec, and Nigel also. There was one more thing I meant to mention about Nigel. He got eliminated from the duplicate.
Oh no!
For apparently still writing his play on the slip when time was up. So he was disqualified, and there's some debate as to whether he was still writing, but he.
So you think politics could have played a part, is what you're suggesting?
Maybe, yeah.
I heard a couple of years ago he lost duplicate because of a similar thing where I think he like wrote the wrong coordinates or something, or there's some weird thing with the slip that he.
I think he just missed the word EX. That's what I remember.
Okay, so we encourage people to check that out. That's a really cool event. And you wanted to get into some questions here.
I wanted to ask you some stuff. So, Josh, how would you describe your Scrabble game in one sentence?
I would say my Scrabble game is very, very intuitive and close to how I feel at the current moment, and it really, really just fluctuates based on how I'm feeling about the situation, how I'm feeling in life, how I'm feeling in general, and that's how I would describe it best.
So when you say it, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Actually, I was going to ask a different question. So go over it.
So I just wanted to follow up. This is one of the interesting things that came out of the Canadian Nationals when I interviewed Josh. And one of the things that he talked about was how studying was overrated and seemed to place more emphasis on kind of an instinctual style of play, or certainly strategic. I think you could call it that. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, I find that if you make one good move based on how you feel that you wouldn't make if you were just playing like a robot, you can just steal the game away. You can block a play your opponent might have that would totally set them in a bad path for the rest of the game. And you can't really do that just by seeing all of the plays that are available on the board. It might even be beneficial for you in some cases to eschew certain areas of the board or even like miss a bingo on your rack just because you're so sure that you're making a play in this area of the board right now that's going to stop your opponent.
So when you say you play really intuitively, does that mean that you don't think about numbers and calculations when you play, or does it just mean that you interpret these calculations differently?
I do calculations a fair amount, I guess, in game, but that's only when I'm not really like sure what to do, which happens. I'm not like saying that I'm totally like I know exactly what I'm doing at all times, but the intuitive part is just like seeing a play and being pretty certain that that's the right play without really doing much else.
And so like Josh just mentioned, and I think a lot of people know this by now, that you're one of the people who does not study words much, and you don't even advocate for studying words. That being said, with nationals around the corner, what do you think you need to do to get to a point where you're going to win nationals? Or what are you doing right now in order to prepare for nationals?
Obviously there is some reviewing words that needs to be done. If I'm going to miss a word like Sauterne, Sauterne, because I haven't studied it in like a couple of years, it doesn't bode well for me, because I mean that would definitely be my play with a lot of racks. But most of all, I really believe that what I need to work on is my emotional state and being a bit more controlled and less affected by results in my previous games, because those definitely affect my results in games after those.
Okay.
That makes any sense.
So I prepared a little position from Cross Tables. This is from round 10 of the Shediac tournament from last year. You might remember this game. It's gotten a lot of cred online. And I wanted you to walk us through your thought process and why you made the play that you did. And because I think this is a good illustration of what kind of player you are.
So let's go.
He's gonna be so angry.
Let's go.
He's in Aruba. It's all good. He has no idea.
Let's go to this now. Here we go.
So
and
Josh,
everyone should be able to hear both of us.
Okay, so talk us through
All
this
three of
position,
us.
Josh.
All right. Well, I have a pretty boring rack. I have 7 1-point tiles. I don't have a bingo unless I'm playing in Collins. And I sort of want to get rid of my A. So normally I just exchange the A. But for the longest time, I've been like, you should be able to play A to start the game. You should be able to play one tile. It's a word. A word. You use it like in every sentence. And I've gotten away with playing it in a casual game once against a clubmate of mine, and it was a lot of fun. And to get away with something so like ridiculous is fun, because some people just don't know the rule that you can't play A to start the game. And I'm playing Cesar, so it makes it even better, because me and Cesar have some sort of like mental rivalry where like I was able, at least at that point in the year, in my Scrabble career, in my rivalry with Cesar, to make plays that completely destroyed him mentally. And like
it's a good goal.
I decided at this game, since he had just talked to me about how there's nothing else I can pull out of my sleeve at this point. I've made so many ridiculous plays against him and like caused him so much anguish that there could be nothing else that I could do. And in fact, there was. So I played A for 0. I don't know what it would score. I think it would score 2 if I had gotten away with it. He definitely challenged.
But the idea is you love to troll Cesar, right? This is part of your persona, right?
Yeah, and if he does challenge it off, I do have some options for next turn. He might give me a letter I need for an 8-letter word. Otherwise, I can just exchange the A. It's not a huge deal. It'd be like, I don't know. It'd be like he's going first, and he's really afraid of my rack.
And
so yeah, I like to troll Cesar, and that's basically why I played A, even though I was pretty sure I wasn't going to get away with it.
And I think the funniest thing about this is that although I love your play and I think it's amazing, brilliant, Cesar wound up winning that tournament. And I have no idea how, because you shook him so much, but he ended up winning. He beat me in the finals. So that was a pretty interesting endgame for that.
Yeah, that was a crazy tournament.
I remember
that game.
Didn't Cesar hold the play for a while? Like he was sitting there for a couple of minutes?
I don't think he held for very long, but what ended up happening is he challenged, and I was like, okay. And I went up to the computer as if I didn't know that it was invalid, just to shake him even further, just to make him like think about it. And when we got back to the table, he just sat in agony for like 5 minutes. So over the course of like 3 turns, I think he spent 12 minutes.
So Josh, I'm
so like distraught.
I have one more question for you, and it relates to our series because as a lot of you guys know, Josh Sokol and I have played 4 official Scrabble series now.
And by series, you're talking about series.
I'm talking about series, 4 series.
And the idea behind a series is
it's like a best of 15. We'll do a best of 17.
Series.
We just play each other 15
play a
games in a
ton.
row. And the thing is, what we also do is we go to a different city every time. So we've done Toronto, Montreal, New York City, and Boston. And the record right now is, Josh?
I think it's 2-2.
Yeah, it's 2-2. You should know this.
Okay.
So my question for you is, how does your psychological game change from playing a regular tournament to playing a series? And I want to know this for my own sake as well, so I can beat you.
Well, I believe that when you're playing the same person in a series, all you have to do is get in tune with them. Like, I don't know, sort of like be in tune with their vibes and their energy. I know this sounds like a bit far-fetched. And after a few games, you'll be able to basically interpret the situation and what's going on and what your opponent's trying to do. And if you're better at doing that than your opponent is, and you are similarly skilled in the game, you should come up ahead.
And it's interesting because I feel like all of our series have gone in streaks. Like one person wins 4 in a row, then the other person wins a bunch. And at this point, it's probably not luck.
Yeah, there's, I don't know. I never believed in luck. I believe that I can get lucky. I don't believe that my opponent can get lucky.
now, I'm going to cut in here for 1 second and say, I think to outside observers, all of these series and traveling all over the place and the time being put in and the attention, and Chris and Randy's wedding, I think it really is love is in the air. I think you guys are, whatever. Are you guys best friends? What's going on here?
Sure.
All right. I think it's nice. You guys are traveling around and playing Scrabble. I think it's great.
That's a pretty cold answer, Jackson.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about this, though. We'll talk about it later, okay? He always does.
Okay.
No, but it's great. I highly suggest playing series to everybody. You get to know the person super well. I didn't even know who Josh was when we played our first series.
What?
I'm just kidding. No, but it's super fun. It's super intense. There's a lot of emotion behind it. It's wonderful. And the reason I brought up this series talk is that Joey Kravchuk next weekend is holding another one of his match play tournaments. And this one's in Dallas, and it features 8 Texan players. So Josh Greenway, do you want to pull up the bracket that Joey has made?
Here we go. Oh, wait. And I did not realize we were going to this. I thought we were going to fold this into tournament talk.
Oh, this is tournament talk.
Here is the bracket. No, we haven't opened up tournament talk yet. But let's go ahead. So this is the idea where it's a tournament that is all based on series, right?
Yes.
Each of these pairs will play a series of how many games?
Best of 11. So they'll play best of 11, which is 1st to 6. So it's a 3-day tournament. The first day is the pairings that are shown on the computer. So it's Ori versus Chris, Daryl versus Jim, Sid versus Paul, and Joey versus Mike. And then they play a best of 11 with each other. And the second day, the winner moves on, and then they play another best of 11. And then the third day, the finalists play best of 11. So it's super cool. I played a mini one of these in Durham a few weeks ago. Super fun. And in line with tournament talk, I am wondering, Josh Sokol, who do you think is going to win this Dallas match play tournament?
So it's best of 11. This is really cool. I didn't even know this was happening again.
Is this next weekend?
I think it's next weekend.
Idea.
Okay.
So my prediction, Ori versus Chris. I think Ori's going to win. He's just like a really really top player. Chris is great. He's really up there. He's getting up there, but I think Ori's going to win. Daryl versus Jim. I could go either way. They're both. I find lots of Texas players are very like emotional. So like I was saying, if one of the two players gets a good run or gets in tune with the other, they're going to come out ahead. I'll say for this time might be Daryl because he's due for a good tournament. Joey versus Mike Early, I'll say Joey, and Sid versus Paul Holzer. It could go either way again.
Who do you think is going to be the big winner? Who wins
After
the bracket?
day 3, who's going to win?
Well, I would have to first determine who's going to win between.
Oh my God!
Okay,
Use your
is
intuition. Use your intuition, Josh.
I think Ori is going to win this tournament.
All right.
This is a good opportunity to open up Tournament Talk. Tournament Talk
Wow,
is a
right there.
feature that we do every week. And what we do is we look at upcoming tournaments, we predict the winners, we look back on what our predictions were the last time. So why don't we get right into that? Do we know who the winners were?
From what?
From last week.
Philadelphia?
Yeah, so
Oh,
Philadelphia, we predicted. I predicted Roth.
I think
I
I
know who
predicted
did not.
Connie.
You predicted Connie. We're both wrong.
Connie
right?
came in last, and Roth came in 4th.
I don't know why you need to call out who's coming in last.
Sorry,
Then-
Connie. And the winner was Diana Grossman of that tournament.
Yes. And then we also predicted it was a tournament in Dansbury. Do you
Sure.
want to look up the results? I picked Marty, who I think is Marty Gold, probably.
Marty Gabriel.
Marty Gabriel, sorry. I didn't write down the last names on our picks last time. You picked Joe.
I picked Joe Roberto.
Yes.
And I can't find it on cross tables yet.
Okay.
So we're going to let someone else figure that out.
Guys, I bet we're over time, by the way.
Oh, we are. We're about a minute over. So we're picking it up.
Yeah, that's why we're going to try to
No
move through
thanks
tournament
to me.
talk really quickly. We made some other predictions. I think
Yes.
you got part of it right. Do you want to go through that? This
the
was for the
predictions.
Word Cup.
Oh, the World Cup. Yes, I think I predicted
Rashid
to
over
win,
Winter.
and
I
Rashid
chose
won.
Winter.
Rashid
Yeah, it
won,
was really
so
close. It
one
came
more
down the
point
last
to me,
game.
finally.
And then I predicted John. You predicted Kevin. I guess that's TWL. Do
Kevin
you know
Fraley.
who won?
Yeah, I think Kevin Fraley won. He was
Oh.
close to nice.
Yeah.
So you
Two
won
over two.
Okay, there you go.
So moving on, this week, let's first predict the Dallas Match Play Tournament.
Okay, good. So
Take it away.
Josh Jr. here already picked Ori, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Joey K.
Well, no, I'm going to pick Sid, the defense queen. Sid
Whoa.
Morale.
Okay. And then we have a couple more here. Let's what's interesting is we have Scrabble going on both coasts in New York and LA.
Wow.
So
Rare.
let's go with New York. I don't know if people at home will be able to see this, but it's a nice field up at the top. We've got Edley, we've got Sherman, we've got Cesar, we've got Matt Graham.
Great.
I'll hand the first pick off to you.
I think Joel Sherman is going to take this one.
Okay.
Sorry, Cesar and Aruba, the powers of Aruba.
And I mean, there's so many great names here. I always pick the top seed, and then it's like a curse. So, no, I'm going to go for Cesar. Let's do Cesar.
Great.
Okay, let's do LA. We're going to start with TWL.
Oh, Avery's going. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I'm picking first on this one.
Go for it.
So I don't know. Listen, Avery was all over Facebook. I feel like I don't know Avery that well, but Avery, I'm in your corner. I'm picking Avery.
Well, I'm going to go by seed, and I'm going to pick David Pearl.
Okay. And then that just leaves LA Collins, and let's bring
I'll
that
take it
up.
away. I think Jesse
This is
Day.
another. It's
Yeah,
another really
interesting.
good field,
I
right?
think Jesse Day is
This
going
is
to take this
LA
one.
CSW.
All these players from the East
And
Coast
you're
playing
going-
in LA.
Yeah, and
Super
I'll
surprising.
well, I'll take Conrad.
Surprise, surprise.
Hey, listen, we're gonna be
We'll see.
we're
We
gonna
could
be
be
hanging
surprised.
with all these
We
people in a
could-
couple
it's
of
true.
weeks, so I'm excited, and I'll be getting a chance to work with Conrad a little bit when it comes to the NASC stream. I'm gonna have a very small role in that, but Conrad will be main billing with Robin Pollock Daniel calling the action there out of nationals.
So we have a few minutes left. I mean, we're over time, 4 minutes and 13 seconds already, but to make sure we don't go over by 10 minutes and lose the game, we can't do that.
yes.
We want to do a couple plugs. Firstly, Nationals. Is registration still open?
Yeah, I think so. I think registration
if it's open,
is still open.
You got to play. If you have registered but don't have your hotel room yet or flight, book it.
Yeah, the numbers are creeping up there.
Yeah.
I think the last time I looked at the number was 413, which is pretty good. Okay, we're no longer in tournament talk. Let's get rid of that. And before we get to let's do those plugs and then we'll do the other thing
of Nationals,
later.
Josh Sokol, do you want to plug anything for Nationals?
Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Sokol. This year, I'll be hosting the NASC Musicale for the 3rd year in a row. The Musicale is a musical talent show of sorts, where everyone who wants to can come up and perform a song or 2 or 3 or 4 if you're Chris Cree. And people are really interested in listening or even playing music. Last year we had some amazing stuff by Alex Seaholm and others. And I would really invite all of you to either participate or just come watch, because there's so much talent in Scrabble outside of the game. And it's just great to see like these musicians just like coming out of their shell and doing another thing they're just amazing at.
Yeah, it's a great event. I always come into the Musicale. What night of Nationals is it?
That's a very good question.
Okay, and how much do you charge people when they come see the show?
It's absolutely free.
That is amazing.
Wow, now I'm there.
I really should.
Well, you should sing there. Have you ever?
Yeah, I haven't sung a song, but
I think we're gonna do something.
Yeah, Josh and I are doing like a duet, probably.
Who's lying on the piano and who's playing the piano?
I'm dancing on the piano.
Okay.
Lying on the piano.
I played a song a couple of years ago. It was fun. I will do the same this year. Always a great time.
What do you mean it was fun? You walked out.
It was not fun, but I don't really want to get into it now.
I also want to take this opportunity to plug one of the things that we all we play Scrabble. You guys play more Scrabble than I do, but we also work on different things. Josh is handling the Musicale. You're a new member of the advisory board, despite my protestations. I work on the advisory board. I work on something called the Forward Energy Committee, the social media. I do a bunch of different things. One of the things that we're doing is we're creating a new website that we can send prospective new members to. So this is part of a larger overarching strategy of how we're going to bring people in, because basically we want to improve the first impression that people have when they find NASPA and they come on in. So we're currently looking for volunteers who are willing to write articles, edit written material, take pictures. There are a few other things, draw things, like whatever it is, different ways to contribute to this thing, because we've been working on this for a little while, and we've developed kind of a map of what the site will look like and some of the basic information. So if that's something that you think you can help with, if you've got a few, literally a few hours between now and Nationals or more time after that, get in touch with me, hit me up on Facebook, shoot me an email. Great. So I can count on you two guys. Can I assign you some tasks?
I will write an article happily.
Josh? Because this is one of my favorite things to do is assign tasks. So I wanted to cover that. Do you have anything to plug other than your notes? Jackson is sick, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't tell me about it before we came to the show. I don't know what anybody else thinks about that. I'm offended.
Fine.
Does anyone else have anything to plug?
Except one more time, the question of the day. In honor of World Emoji Day, please share the emoji that best describes your Scrabble experience. So if I had to pick a Scrabble emoji, it would probably be the heart emoji.
I thought it was just what best describes strategy. I'm sorry, love is in the air today.
I thought it was your Scrabble experience, just like tournaments, Scrabble playing, everything. But
we got to work on these on these questions of the day, man.
Okay, I have one thing to plug.
Go ahead. What's that?
When you play Scrabble, play with your heart, not with your brain.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
So
I love it.
Are almost 10 minutes over, so please let's do some Scrabble birthdays.
Really
quick. Let's do it.
I want to give a shout out to a regular viewer of ours, James Mack, Charmaine Farini, Dinesh Dinesh R, I like to say, and also Pro Tiles. Pro Tiles
Happy
has like
birthday,
a
Pro Tiles.
personal
Yeah.
feed on Facebook. It's really weird. Anyway, if you want to have your birthday shouted out and appear in the comments, be friends with me on Facebook.
It's a great life decision. And thank you, Josh, so much for coming in as our guest. We highly appreciate it and giving us your
Very welcome.
loving
Should
brain.
we reveal our guest for next week?
It's going to be
Josh
drumroll,
Sokol.
please.
Oh.
It's
No.
going to be director of the North American Scrabble Championship, Art Moore.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a big
Excited.
get.
It's a big one. And
Because
with that,
That guy is super busy.
we are 10 minutes over.
Okay,
And
we
that's the show.
We appreciate everybody joining us. Yeah, this is
We'll
a
see you
lot of
next
fun.
Tuesday
We
with
got two
Art
more shows until Nationals.
Yeah.
And who knows who's going to win it? If I had to put my money on anybody, it's not either of these characters. But it's going to be super exciting. I can't wait. Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye, Gabe.